Welcome to my channel, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. I wanted to show you some of my lipstick plants, and I do not know for the life of me why lipstick plants, Eschenanthus, are not more popular than they are. For me, they are very similar to Hoyas, how they grow, where they grow, how you take care of them, except I feel like they're easier. They're easier to grow, they grow quicker, they're easier to get to bloom. So yeah, I don't understand it, and I kind of wish they were more popular, and let's just get into it and I'll show you. This first one I have here to show you, if you've been to my channel before and you've seen any of these videos, this one has been featured once before. This is the lipstick plant Mona Lisa. It has beautiful clusters of reddish flowers, tubular flowers. And when they start to emerge from their buds, they look like lipstick coming out of the tube. Very, very pretty. You can check back on the channel and see when I've done a video on this. They also get sun stressed. This one is in a south-facing window, and now that it in New York, in the US, now that it is approaching, well, it's in the fall, the sun is now coming through our south-facing window. So this is getting sun stressed, and it's like a maroon color. You can kind of see. The leaves grow opposite. They are leathery and thick and waxy, just like Hoyas. And at each node, there is a little, let me focus for us here. Okay, there is a little root bump here. And they also grow as epiphytes, just like Hoyas do. So they grow up in tree canopies, in the notches of trees, on branches. And so yeah, they're used to being in very well aerated, well draining potting mix if you're going to keep them in potting mix. I have mine in the potting mix that they came with a self-watering wick, and as you can see, there is a little bit of water in the reservoir. These plants do extremely well like that. The wick and the reservoir is a relatively new setup that I put them in because they kept drying out way too much. The leaves would get wrinkly, and especially being in a south-facing window, I didn't want that to happen anymore. So now that they're getting ample sun, that's really all you need to get them to bloom. Up here, I'll show you, there are some buds starting. I had buds a couple months ago, and they bloomed beautifully, and they stay on the plant for a long time. And here we have some that are even further along. So this is the tube that I was talking about, and the bud comes out from the inside, and before it actually opens, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and it looks like a red tube of lipstick before it opens into the actual flower. So this one is further along, you can see. Really cool and beautiful. Hummingbirds love them, apparently. I've never had hummingbirds feed off of mine because they're all indoors. But let me move this back so you can see. This is a nice sized plant, and I have taken cuttings from this. One in particular I have here to show you. I put it into some acrylic yarn. Let me raise this up so you can see. You can see it has grown a lot, and I just stuck it in the yarn, and look at these roots. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Look at that, they're doing so well, and the plant has been growing. So yeah, very easy to propagate and maintain, as you can see. So this is the Mona Lisa. I'm gonna now show you another, and I don't have a name for this one. You could see that the leaves are smaller. It is a little bit more vigorous. Let me back up so you can see. A little bit more vigorous than the Mona Lisa. I don't even know what color these flowers are. I know I have a bunch of different types of lipstick plant, Eschenanthus. I have some that have orange flowers, some that are purple flowers, some that are red flowers. I don't really know what flowers this has yet until it blooms. And I'm looking forward to it blooming. This one is in the same place as the other one I just showed you. in a south-facing window. Let me see if this is this a, no, this is just a growth point. So I'm looking forward to seeing what color this one blooms, because obviously it's a little different. Could be similar in color and shape as far as the blossoms are concerned, but it is a very easy, vigorous grower, and I really love this plant. I'm gonna probably take some cuttings of this because it is just taking over. Grows relatively quickly as long as you keep it hydrated and in bright light. Again, this has the wick system with the reservoir like I do for most of my plants these days. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful plant. That is that one. And once it blooms, I'll be able to ID it. I just have not had this bloom yet. It is just in its growth phase, I guess you could say. Next up, we have the variegated Aschenanthus, which is the variegated lipstick plant. And I think I did a video on this once before. You can see the variegation is kind of light. It is not that striking. And partially that is because I have this in direct sunlight, so the leaves are a little bit sun bleached, but you can see the pattern in the variegation there in some of these leaves. This one started taking off and going nuts, and as soon as the sun started entering into the window, because in the summer the sun does not actually come through the window, it's just very bright, but in fall and winter the sun comes directly in and is on the plants for many hours. But we got a flower. Now the interesting thing about this is it's a single flower, it's not a cluster. Usually these guys, there we go, now it's finally focused. Usually these guys have a bunch of blossoms in a cluster, kind of like you saw on the Mona Lisa that I showed you. Even though it hasn't bloomed yet, you can see that there's a little cluster of 4 blossoms. This one is solitary. I don't know if this is typical of this variety. I will know more as this blooms more often, but you can see it's really kind of interesting. Now, one thing I don't see the tube that the bud would grow through, like in the other one we saw, the Mona Lisa. This one does not have that same setup, so I don't remember this looking like a tube of lipstick, but apparently this is Aschenanthus. This is a lipstick plant, so it's just a little different, I guess. This is another easy grower. One thing that was interesting about this plant when before it started blooming, when I noticed it growing in the window, it was growing away from the light. I think this was the tendril that was doing that, but it was growing in the opposite direction of where the light was coming from. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it was just a fluke, but I did notice that, and I definitely wanted to mention it because I find that interesting. Usually plants grow towards the light. They don't want to grow away from the light. This one was growing away from the light. But I got it to bloom. I'm glad I got to see what the flowers look like on this variety, and now I could probably ID it. I know that it's the this is the variegated Aschenanthus, but I would love to know the scientific name just so I know, more of what I'm dealing with here. Anyway, these are my lipstick plants. Not all of them. I have a couple more that I don't have in this video. They seem to grow a little bit bigger. And I have an orange variety that's not in this video, but the care is exactly the same. So again, I don't understand why these are not nearly as popular as Hoyas. I mean, I know Hoya flowers are really kind of cool. They're very, very intricate as far as their detail of like the petals and everything, and the fragrances. These don't have fragrances when they bloom. But still, I mean, as far as a foliage plant, and there are a few different varieties that are variegated, so again, I don't know why they're not as popular, but maybe if I do more videos, people will start looking for them and make them more popular. I just think they're really easy and beautiful houseplants outdoors in the summer. If you want to attract hummingbirds, this is definitely a good plant for that, especially the Mona Lisa. because they are very bright red when they come out. And that's about it, and easy to propagate. All you need is a little piece of stem. That's it. If you have any questions on how I'm growing my lipstick plants, obviously leave a comment. And if you haven't, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. And I will see you in the next video.